And good evening, this is Bob W6CJX, and I'll be your net control operator for tonight's Papa Great Outdoor Net. This net meets every Sunday evening at 8 p.m. Pacific. This is a directed net, so please go through net control at all times, and your cooperation is always greatly appreciated. Stations with emergency or priority traffic can come into the net at any time with a double break, and net control will respond appropriately. The Papa system is an open membership-supported system in the Southern California area with coverage from the Mexican border to Paso Robles and from the Channel Islands to Las Vegas, Nevada. If you're a visitor to the Papa system tonight, I invite you to go to papasys.com, that's PAPASYS.com, and register as a guest. With your guest registration, you'll have 45 days of free access to the Papa system. At the end of your one-time 45-day guest access period, we'd love for you to become a subscribed member, continue to use the Papa system on a daily basis, and be part of the Papa system family. However, all amateurs are welcome to participate in the daily, weekly, and monthly Papa system nets regardless of their membership status. Again, this is the Papa system Great Outdoor Net. And good evening. This is Bob W6CJX, and this is the Papa System Great Outdoor Net. We have this every Sunday evening at 8 p.m. We hope everyone's having a great Sunday, good weekend out there. Weather wasn't too bad. We had coastal clouds and things, but it kind of made it nice. And other than that, it's been good sleeping weather, I suppose, too. What else? It was good this weekend. Well, this will be our 100th podcast. So for the Papa Great Outdoor Net podcast, after the after effects of the net, this is reaching number 100. So I don't know what YouTube does for that. Maybe I'll get a new Cadillac or, I don't know, something. Coupe de Ville would be nice, something cool like that. I don't think they give you anything because it's non-monetary, so it's okay. They're not making money, and I'm not making money. All right, before we get going too far, let's visit the advertising department of the Papa system.
Here is the Papa System weekly calendar for the latest news and upcoming events. The Papa Inland Empire Breakfast. Papa will be meeting at 9 a.m. on Saturday, June 13th at the Mill Creek Cattle Company in Mentone, California. The Papa Valley Breakfast. Papa will also be meeting on Saturday, June 13th, 7:30 a.m. at Lulu's Restaurant in Van Nuys. We will be offering ham license testing at both locations for technician, general, and amateur extra class licenses. Please RSVP for breakfast attendance and for ham license testing. As always, the Papa Quick Start program runs in conjunction with all our test sessions and is a benefit for newly licensed technician class ham radio operators. Please see the Papa website for more information. You are encouraged to check in on the Papa system Wednesday night, New Hams Net with Steve, KI6LOV, at 7 p.m. and let him know if you were part of the Quick Start program. Papa Picnic 2026. Join us on Sunday, June 14th, at 10 a.m. for the 2026 Papa Picnic. We will be at the Falcon Flats Group area, Irvine Regional Park, the same location as last year. Please purchase your meal ticket today, so we can give the caterers an accurate head count. We will have a choice of hamburgers, veggie burgers, or hot dogs, along with macaroni and potato salad. Oh, and don't forget, the world-famous Papa guacamole and chips. To drink, we will have Coke, Diet Coke, Sprite, lemonade, and bottled water. Each meal ticket is $23. Please note that there is a $5 entrance fee for the park at the front gate. You can purchase your meal ticket via PayPal, Apple Pay, Venmo, or your credit card on the Papa website. This year, we will be supporting Operation Happy Feet. So please donate some new or slightly used shoes and socks. Please mark each donation item with the size on a strip of masking or painter's tape wrapped around the pair of shoes or socks for easier distribution to the people in need. Raffle prizes? We've got 'em. Raffle prize tickets can only be purchased at the Papa Picnic event. A list of the current raffle prizes and the grand prize can be found on the Papa website and on the Papa Facebook page. We look forward to seeing all of you there this year. All this information and a whole lot more can be found on the Papa website at papasys.com.
All right. Well, as you can tell, we're going to be having a picnic a week from today. So if you would like to join us, please make sure you get your ticket early. You know, you think about it, the ticket includes, we have to pay for the site or at the park. It's not free. And of course, the caterers and all the great food and, so much fun. So not bad. I think that's a good deal. And don't forget, there is a $5 fee at the gate when you come in. But bring some shoes. If you don't have any shoes, I have a few that I can donate. But if you want to do a little bit more and you don't want to maybe buy brand new shoes, you might as well go to a Goodwill or Soviet Union, Salvation Army. And they're cheap, sometimes $1 a pair, $2 a pair, just buy a few decent shoes that some of the less fortunate people out there that don't have shoes would love to have. All right, with that public service announcement, let's see if our good friend Steve, KI6LOV, don't know his status. It's very unusual for me. I'm scratching my chin here. I don't know if he went to the cabin or not, did a day hike, but we will find out and see what else he has for us tonight. Steve, I'm going to send it over to you. KI6LOV, net control, over to you, W6CJX.
Well, good evening, Bob, and everyone out here on the Sunday night outdoor net. Great to be here. And yes, indeed, I went for a day hike or an in and out to my cabin yesterday because I had some things I needed to do today and require the entire day. So I went out there. It's a little bit of a challenge at this point in life to hike in and out in one day, but it's all good. And I found everything in order. And it was good to go out and pay the cabin a visit, open things up, and have a little lunch, take a nap and such. But then I'll tell you on the way out what happened. So, okay, I've mentioned this before, and I'll probably have to mention it again, but when you go out for a hike, and I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but make sure you have enough water with you, especially this time of year, even though it's early and summer hasn't quite broken yet. It's going to get hot. And I'm at the point where I like to travel as light as possible. I don't bring extra water for strangers, as I once did, and I have stories about that. But what I met up with was a family, and they hiked about 2 miles from the parking lot, and between three of them, they brought 1 half-liter bottle of water. And so when they passed me on the trail, I just gave them I was hiking down and they were hiking up, and they were all, as I say, about 2 miles from the trailhead. And I looked and I saw that they didn't have any packs or anything with them. And I excused myself and introduced myself to them and told them I thought they should turn around and go back to the parking lot. And what made it worse was I believe they were Korean, perhaps, and they didn't speak enough English for me to explain what I was trying to say. So I had to just walk away and leave them out there, and I'm sure they were okay, but I think they probably had a really bad afternoon coming back down. But anyway, please, bring enough water, folks. And once you get thirsty, it's already you're already getting dehydrated. So just drink up. And when I see you at the picnic next Sunday, I'm going to ask to see your water bottle. So with that, I'll give it back to you, Bob. KI6LOV.
Excuse me, ma'am. Can I see your water bottle? That's going to be great, Steve. Boy, can't wait for that one. Oh, yeah, when I used to go hiking, one time I told somebody I was going for an in and out, and, of course, they said, give me a double-double. Yeah, I know that. You heard that one coming. But no, I used to call it in and out, and then I said out and back, because that way. And then they say, oh, let's go to Outback. No, okay. Enough of that. Moving on. Thank you, Steve, so much. That is perfectly good, because this time of year, it's, not real hot in the mornings, at least out this way if you're doing these trails. And so you don't think about it as much, and you think you're not going to sweat. Doesn't matter. Just drink. And still probably one of the better things to do is have a hydration bladder of some kind that you can just sip on as you walk and hike, and that's the best way. All right, as always, Steve, thank you so much for your contribution to the net. We do appreciate it. We'll put you in for an award. Let's see. So tonight we got kind of a neat topic. It's kind of falling in with, some of it, part of it falls in with donations and things, but we'd really like you to keep everything. So before I give away too much, let's go to Andrew, and he's in our research center, and just see what he has for us tonight. Go ahead, Andrew.
Good evening to everyone on the Papa System Great Outdoor Net. This is Andrew. I will be your Papa Research host for tonight's net. Before you relegate your camping gear to the dumpster or a permanent grave in the back of the garage, it is worth looking at it through a different lens. Whether it's a slightly leaky tent, an outdated sleeping pad, or cooking gear you haven't touched in a couple of seasons, holding onto and restoring that equipment is almost always the smarter move. Here is why your old camping gear is worth keeping around. High quality emergency backup. The most practical reason to keep camping gear is that it doubles perfectly as an emergency preparedness kit. In a severe storm, power outage, or natural disaster, your camping equipment is a ready-to-go survival system. Power and light. Headlamps, lanterns, and portable solar panels keep your home lit and devices charged when the grid goes down. Cooking and water. A camp stove and extra fuel canisters mean you can boil water and cook hot meals even if your kitchen appliances lose power. Shelter and warmth. Heavy-duty sleeping bags, sleeping pads, and tents provide immediate insulation and shelter if you are forced to camp out or sleep in an unheated room or vehicle. The backup principle. It's much better to have a secondary, scuffed-up piece of gear to lean on during an unexpected breakdown or emergency than to have nothing at all. So if you have to remove camping equipment from your life, please donate it to an unhoused outreach organization that can provide someone a little shelter and warmth. This has been Andrew for the Papa System Great Outdoor Net, and now back to Bob W6CJX Net Control.
Well, thank you, Andrew. That's very, very cool. We thank you very much, and that's some good wisdom there. I believe definitely camping gear is a lot like tools. You might have 5 of the same wrench, and you could get rid of 1 or 2, give it to a friend, neighbor, or cousin. But definitely keep most of your tools, and definitely keep, if you can, keep your not just so much hiking equipment, just camping equipment. Old camping equipment. Unless it's really old, then you might want to check it. But definitely, if it's fairly new and you're like, well, I'm never going to go camping again, but just throw it here in the corner. Well, it could come in handy if for some reason you're not be able to stay in your house. Maybe pitch a tent in the backyard or at a park, and then also the stove if it cuts off gas and electric to your house or something. All right, let me take a pause, and we'll be right back to take some check-ins. And W6CJX returning, and he was our third-party traffic for tonight, Mr. Andrew there. Well, let's see who's out there tonight. I wanted to just run past. I think there's going to be a few people out here that still have their camping equipment that, it's just sort of there. I guess, sometimes it's a good idea to take a look at it. I think I talked to Steve on this one too, and just make sure things are still okay, if you're planning on keeping it. God forbid the big one happens and all these strange things that may happen to us might. But even a tent, a simple tent, I've got several different ones that I've kind of grown into and grown out of and whatever. I kept them, and I'm not going to probably ever use them again, but they are there for family or friends if, needed. And believe it or not, you can shelter in a tent even on Mount Everest. Who would have ever thought? All that cold wind and air. Okay, let's take some check-ins from anybody, anywhere on the Mighty Papa System. Let's say hello and come into the net tonight. Welcome.
Kilo 6 Hotel November Golf. Kilo Echo 6, Foxtrot, Victor November, Jim, Cerritos.
Kilo Delta 6, Lima, Lima, Bravo, Logan.
AE6, MAE, Larry.
November 6, Hotel Alpha Lima.
Alpha Bravo 6, Mike Bravo.
Whiskey 7, Sierra Echo Alpha.
Whiskey 9, Echo Yankee Papa.
Kilo 6, Bravo, Victor Bravo, in and out.
Okay, I think we got a nice round there. Get started with that. We picked up Kilo 6, Bravo, Victor Bravo as an in and out. But now if you call in and out, you're going to have to bring us a double one time. I'll even settle for just a single. All right, in that round, I did miss one. So let me go through the list real quick. I got Adrian, HNG, Jim, FVN, Logan, LLB, Larry, MAE, Hal, HAL, Jeff, AB6MB, Whiskey 7, Sierra Echo Alpha, I think it was, C. Sounds good. It's a good call sign. And I got Marvin, Whiskey 9, EYP. Who did I miss in that round?
Giant Quail overhead.
Kilo Alpha 6, Bravo, Tango, Doug.
Okay, perfect. Didn't know if I pushed the mute button or not. But I'm talking and I can hear myself. That's a good thing. Okay, I got Monty, and you were in that first little group, so I snuck you in. And then I pick up Doug, KO6BXT, I believe it was. So let's go to the top of our list. And the winner of the whole shot this round, last round, or when the last net, that was Jim. He got the whole shot. But this time I think it was, well, it could have been either one. It was kind of a toss-up. And if you don't know what a whole shot is, well, in celebration of On Any Sunday's 50th anniversary or something of, anyway, it was one of my favorite shows. And if you know what I'm talking about, you know what you know. KK6HNG, welcome Adrian. So you got a lot of fairly new equipment, but you know, you're going to hang on to it, right? And keep it just in case, you know?
Bob and everybody on the net. This is Adrian, KK6HNG, and yeah, I've done an in and out yesterday, all the way to Cucamonga Peak and back over Ice House Saddle from Ice House Canyon parking lot. And well, it was great, and I have my trail story over there as well. Yeah, I had with me like almost 3 liter, and I used almost 2. And on the trail, actually, I saw several people actually doing shortcuts, cutting shortcuts, and basically creating a cloud of dust, basically, and a lot of rocks going down on the switchback and messing up the trail. And at one point, I said, hey, look, there are some volunteers that keep these trails in a relatively good shape, and you are ruining their work. The guy looked at me and said, sorry, sir, you're right. Okay, well, I was thinking I knew I am, but it's good that you know that. I was thinking. I didn't say anything, but you got the point. Now, talking about equipment, yeah, I have my fair amount of equipment that I'm not using anymore, or I used, or that I had to fix, and I have a few examples that comes to mind. One of them would be my tent, the one the foxes cut into, which I actually did fix, and it's still in workable condition. In fact, I was a little unlucky with that tent because somebody trying to do an antenna one year broke one of my poles, but it broke right at the edge, so I was able to fix that, and it still works anyway. That tent is still in usable condition, even I'm not using it that often, but it's there if I need it. And another example was one of my first sleeping bags I bought. It was a Chinese one, like, I don't know, 10 years ago, no, maybe more, maybe 12 or so. And the problem is, that specific sleeping bag, when it arrived, I said, wow, this thing, it's so bulky and so heavy that I'm not going to carry it on my back. And sure enough, it was sitting in my garage for years. And then one time I got an idea. Hey, this is a great car camping sleeping bag. And I'm going to tell you, it's the most comfortable car camping sleeping bag or sleeping bag for whatever that I ever had, actually. It works absolutely great if you don't have to carry it on your back. It's great. Can't be better than that. And, I think I have another example like that, too. That other example, I probably need to remember that because I don't know now. But anyway, you got a point. I'm also trying to reuse the equipment if I can or give it another use. Oh, and I remember when REI closed many, many years ago, but really many, I bought on a whim a backpack. Very little did I know that it was pretty small, 35 liter. It was a North Face, very solid. And I said, well, this is going to be too small for what I need to do, so it's not going to do the trick. So that was also sitting in my garage probably 10 years. And one day I said, oh, this is an excellent day pack. It's a little heavier than your standard day pack, but it has a belt, so I could even run a trail with that on my back, so it will work perfect. So there you go. I started reusing that thing. KK6HNG, back to net control.
Well, I got to admit that you gave us a perfect example of what I was trying to portray tonight in the topic. Definitely either repurposing it or if you've cast it aside. And I've done that too. I've casted things aside and just went, I'll just keep it, I've got extra poles. We go camping. I go to the dumpster just to throw stuff away. And there's sometimes, I've said this many times on the air, there's a perfectly good tent. It was probably brand new, just purchased at Big Five. And somebody just got frustrated with it probably. I don't think there would be anything wrong with it, because even the tents from Big Five are great for their price. And they just threw it away. They just couldn't deal with it. And so, it was like the first and last camping trip. So just, keep that stuff around. You never know. Thank you, Adrian. Very good report for you. I guess I got to give you a raise now, too. KE6FVN down in Cerritos.
Good evening, Bob, and everyone on the net. Kilo X 6 Foxtrot Victor, November. One of the things I am recalling, not too long after we moved down to Cerritos, my dad being an Army vet, he had quickly found out of an Army surplus store in nearby South Bay Springs, and he had found 2 sleeping bags. I forget who the manufacturer was of those sleeping bags, but he had got them 2 sleeping bags he could utilize for my brother and me when we would go on vacation growing up. And then he had used 2 Army, the green Army laundry bags as the covers for those sleeping bags. That's one of the things I remember him using. I'm not sure where they are at now, but that's one of the things I'm recalling from back in the 70s. KE6FVN.
Well, Jim, I know it's a little early, but you get the bell. At least the first bell of the night. I was looking for Army surplus. I can say that. Not too many people can, especially if you're trying to run a net. Army surplus. It's an excellent place to find some stuff. A lot of it's new, old stock, whatever they call that. Some of it's brand new. And then there's, of course, Sportsman's Guide and a few others that do things like that on the internet. There's a lot of great stuff out there. So good story. Yeah, I'm glad. See, it jogged the memory. You got to get to remember that too. Are we going to hopefully get to see you and David at the picnic? I'm hoping. So we'll look forward to that. Thank you so much. And let's head on up now. Now we're heading up the highway to, well, he's probably down here. Look, watch. KE6 giant quail overhead. Are you in Big Bear?
Hey, Bob, and everybody on the net. So, Bob, sorry to say, I'm in Anaheim Hills today. I'll be going back up on Tuesday. I got doctor's appointment Monday and Tuesday, so that's that. Sorry. Anyways, what I wanted to mention is I do save all my old camping gear. And I ended up buying a little dolly from Harbor Freight. And then I ended up with 6 of those yellow and black boxes. And I have old tents, and I have old burners in there, and all kinds of stuff. And somebody showed me something that was kind of cool, and it was a trekking pole tent. And that gave me ideas on some of the old tents I had, because they didn't have poles because they either broke or they splintered or something happened to them. So, if you have trekking poles, you can construct a really nice trekking pole tent with these old small tents. And it's light, and you're not carrying anything extra when you're hiking. Anyways, that's all I have. Thanks for doing the net, and this is KE6GQO from Anaheim Hills. Back to net.
Monty, I told you if you weren't in Big Bear, you're supposed to lie and just tell everybody that you're there. It's more outdoors. I'm kidding. Hopefully we'll see you at the picnic. I don't know. It sounds like you're going back Tuesday, so you may not want to come around all the way back. I know you're not too far from the location there. Notice every other word I'm saying is picnic, because we got to make sure we get everybody to come. We want to see everybody. Come see everybody. Steve and I will be sitting over there. Just look for the Great Outdoor Net booth, and we'll be over there signing autographs in the corner. All right. Thank you, Monty. Appreciate you too all the time. And let's say hello to Logan. I did this last time, and it bamboozled on me. I said I kind of was revolving some of this topic around you, but we'll see. KD6LLB Logan, what you got? What kind of great camping equipment do you have hiding in there that you're probably never going to use, but just in case?
Good evening, Bob, and good evening, everybody on the net. This is Logan, Kilo Delta 6 Lima Bravo on Saddle Peak. And it's funny. I recently organized, or tried very hard to organize, my camping gear, and I definitely did get rid of some things that I knew I wouldn't use, because I have had things that aged out, and somebody could have been using them. So I try to keep things that I think I have a reasonable prospect of using. But get other things out where they'll get some use. So anyway, I made pretty good progress organizing my camping gear, but it all ended up stored in the living area. It was very organized, and I enjoyed looking at it every day. So I was very happy with that arrangement, but it didn't last, and I had to move it to somewhere where I can't see it, and I kind of wonder if it's really there anymore. But it's accessible, and it should be good. And I definitely kept the important things, the things that actually go in my truck, like the little kit for fires and all that. I think I've got that pretty well organized, cords and stakes. And so here's a comment that just occurred to me. I actually do not keep my tent stakes and cordage and all that with my tents. I have kits with stakes and cords and whatever I might need. So I can grab a tent and grab a kit with the stuff to keep the tent from blowing away. And then I don't have, it works out better for me. It's much easier. Especially since the stakes that I use are about a foot long or longer. I also had a place that was sort of, where I always thought if I needed to set up tents, we had a yard. But recently management decided that the lawn needed to go and that some other plants should be there that you can't pitch a tent on. I mean, it wasn't for that purpose, but it just happens that if we end up staying here, or anybody else ends up pitching a tent here, it's going to be camping on asphalt, I think. And I guess that's it. I definitely keep camping gear that could be useful if things go pear-shaped. And I guess the last thing I'll say is I have a trail report. I was biking today at the local trail, and I almost ran over the smallest rattlesnake I've ever seen. And I almost didn't notice him until it was too late, and I managed to sort of steer around, and he lit off, and I would have liked to have gotten a picture, but they're still making new young ones. Anyway. So that's my trail report, and thanks for doing the net, Bob, and congratulations on 100, and I look forward to a couple hundred more of the net, of course. KD6LLB, back to net.
Thank you, Logan. Yeah, there's been quite a few sightings around here, too. I saw a couple in Facebook with the babies, and they just have the button on the end, so they're just born with a button. Maybe that's their belly button? I don't know. Anyway. But it's some kind of button, and then it turns into rattles. There's what an amazing creature, really. And there's some beautiful ones out there. Yeah, or like if it was a large rattlesnake and you tried avoiding it and then you fell and it came over and bit you, that would be really horrible. Not a good day. But sounds good. Yeah, with the stoves and things, I was thinking, I got a new stove. I still have my old Coleman propane. Don't have the white gas one. That would probably be a really good... industrial strength survivor kit, just because you could put white gas or something else in there, if you can find it when there's no gas available. But definitely extra stoves, and you got to at least be able to boil water, even if it's soup or ramen and Mountain House, all those kind of good things, for a few days until things get back into order. So. Very good. Well, thank you, Logan. As always, another number one contributor, too. And let's say hello to Larry, KE6MAE. Maybe that's it.
Well, you got it, Bob. KE6MAE, Larry. I was moving from a house with a nice two-car garage, and we had a Jeep, and we're doing a lot of overnighters out of the Jeep. I never did hiking, never was into really that, but we did a lot of overnight stuff with the Jeep, but I had the stove, the tent, and all the goodies for that. And when we were moving down, where I was just having a one-car garage, and we were going to be spending a lot more time traveling in our motorhome, I made the mistake of selling it all for probably about $50 back in 2005. I always regretted that decision. Fortunately, I've never needed it since then. But boy, I really thought long and good hard after I got rid of it. I said, why did I do that? I could have found a spot for it. But no longer going camping, so it would be a great emergency preparedness, but I got a barbecue I can heat some stuff up on. I always keep the propane bottles full. I have a gas generator, so I'm probably pretty good for an emergency, but I still miss all that camping gear. Back to you, Bob. Thanks for doing the Say hello to everybody. KE6MAE.
Well, you're sounding good, Larry. Hope you're feeling well and healing well and getting back to normal. And like I said, you're sounding really great. And I remember back during the North Ridge earthquake, we were in Woodland Hills and, got shook pretty good there. Wasn't a lot of damage, but, had to turn the gas off. The water was down to a trickle. And we spent most of our nights, at least the first few, because of the aftershocks. We thought, maybe something bigger is going to come. And luckily it didn't, but the aftershocks were big enough. And so we slept in a Cadillac Fleetwood, I believe. Fleetwood Brougham, something like that, a huge Cadillac. And I was looking at our neighbors that had motorhomes and trailers thinking, that would be really a good thing to have because it's already on wheels, it's got springs, and who cares if there's an aftershock? So yeah, so you got your motorhome. I think you're all set. That's a good bug out box too, just like our trailer. A couple batteries, a couple propane tanks, water, just at least to wash things. Yeah, good deal. Thank you, Larry. As always, appreciate you being here. And another one. Boy, we got all the top 10 tonight. N6HAL. Good evening, Chief, and welcome.
November 6, Hotel Alpha Lima. Thank you, Bob. Thanks for hosting the net. Good topic. I think I'm understanding what it is. It's old camping gear. Keep your camping gear. Don't throw it away. Repurpose it. So I'll just say that I repurposed my camping gear twice in the last 10 years. My camping gear consisted of things for really glamping, I guess you call it. Motorhome, travel trailer, pickup campers, that kind of equipment. And I've had a lot of it. I had a lot of the latest neat stuff. And when I gave up camping quite a few years ago, before I moved to Nevada for a short stay, I got rid of my travel trailer, gave all my camping gear to my oldest son, moved, decided we weren't done. We bought another travel trailer, bought new camping equipment, and then when we moved back to home here in San Marcos, California, we sold our travel trailer in Nevada, got rid of all my camping gear to the other son. So I pretty much repurposed it all, but I didn't keep a whole lot. I do have enough to cook a few meals if I don't have any electricity or utilities. I got survival food, I got survival water. It's all out in my storage shed, but you're making me feel guilty now, so I'm going to have to put together a survival camping kit, I guess. I don't have a tent. I got sleeping bags. But now you gave me a new project, Bob. Back to the net. November 6th, Hotel Alpha Lima.
But wait, you gave me a new topic for outdoor. I can be like the outdoor psychologist and walk you through the recovery steps from throwing out your gear. That's great. Well, yeah, you've got it down. I think most of us on this net tonight, in fact, all of us, I would even venture to say, have got something out there, either left over from camping or just something that you can use. And if you don't, I mean, if you're still, you don't have to go camping, but there's nothing wrong with buying a $20 stove at Big Five, and you don't have to spend a lot of money, but just put it aside and keep it in case you need it, So just a thought. All right. Well, thank you, Hal, as always. Another, they're all great contributors. What can I say tonight? Yeah, let's go down to, or go up to, or actually it's a little more like up to San Francisco Bay. My good friend Jeff, AB6MB, who MB, please take it away.
And good old CW ID coming through. Yeah, thanks, Bob. Thanks for doing the net. I actually have no camping gear left anymore. It kind of went by the wayside, but I did have very good memories of the camping that I did, and all my gear. Well, I used a cloth sleeping bag and a homemade backpack that my buddy gave me. That wasn't the lightest thing in the world, but it worked. And then, I just grabbed whatever shoes, or I used tennis shoes when I hiked. I didn't have any boots, but, I just went up and hiked with the Boy Scouts and a couple hikes with my buddies afterwards. But, managed to, do fine during the summer up there in Washington, all 2 days of it, up in the Seattle area. But, it just was, I was going to tell you something that was on the news a couple days ago. An 18-year-old in Southern California died of probably dehydration when he was out hiking. And so it doesn't matter if you're young or old, it can happen to you. If you didn't bring water or enough water. I just wonder if he was out drinking the night before, then got up and went up with his buddies and had no water with him or in that, and it got him, unfortunately. And so I would, but it got me thinking about getting some extra water here at the apartment in case we have, a big disruption. Just good, up and hiking up in Washington. You're actually, in the Seattle area. You pretty much just went during the summer. Not a good idea to go during the winter with all the rain. But I still have fond memories of the summer hikes up there. So with that, I'll turn it back to you there. Thanks for doing it, AB6MB.
Well, you can get rid of the camping equipment, but you can't get rid of the memories. Or maybe you could, but it's one thing that's I always think about too, because I'm not as an avid hiker as I was, and I can still think about all the great hikes that I used to take and the great places that I went and things that I saw. And so that's always a nice thing to, just think about in the afternoon while you're staring up at the clouds or something. I think I spent one whole day up in it was up the San Jacinto Mountains in the Round Valley area camping, and there really wasn't a lot to do, and I wasn't going to go hiking anymore. So I just laid there on my back and looked at the clouds going by, and I thought, how many people do this every day? You kind of one of those things you kind of miss out on after a while. You got to try to make shapes. And anyway, thank you, Jeff. Yeah, sounds good. Well, like I said, even for other people that, there's no way and bloody hell I'm going to go camping, whether you say that or your better half, you still can keep it. Just hide it somewhere, or even go out and buy something new. Let's say hello to John, Whiskey 7, Sierra Echo Alpha. Welcome, John.
Welcome to the net. First-time visitor here. I'm actually down from the Seattle area. It's nice to hear AB6MB Jeff. He's a regular on the new net up in Seattle, which is run by the Puget Sound Repeater Group. And if your 70-centimeter handheld won't reach Seattle, the all-star node, I think, is 2462. So feel free to join in every day at noon. I love the idea of an outdoor net. If you look at my QRZ page, I got into GMRS and then ham because of some mishaps out hunting during the winter. And so that's really how I got into the hobby is through outdoors. I do a lot of hunting and fishing and that sort of thing. Thematically, it sounds like you guys are talking about reusing camping equipment on tonight's net. What I've done to repurpose camping equipment is pass along all of my equipment, like jet boils and all those things, and a variety of stuff to our kids because of the Cascadia shelf off the coast of Washington. We're all just sitting around waiting for that 1,000-year event. So the kids don't necessarily camp all that much, but they do have amazing earthquake kits, which I imagine you folks down here in Southern California already understand. So I will, with that, I'll turn it back to Net Control. Thanks for letting me jump in. This is W7SEA John.
Well, thank you, John. I did go to your QRZ page. That's how I found your name, but also saw that you were from Washington State. And then when you keyed up Papa 4 Saddle, I thought, now that's some really good tropo happening here. But then I realized you must not be up in Seattle at the time. Yeah, PSRG, definitely we know well here too. Haven't checked into too many of the nets, but I have listened a lot. They got some wonderful, great net controllers up there that are just so kick back and just relaxed and, kind of have a lot of fun. And, it's quite interesting nets up there. So thank you for sharing with that. That's also good. Let's head over to Redlands, I think, for Whiskey 9, Echo, Yankee, Papa. Marvin, are you out there with us tonight? I might have got his call sign miss. I know the last half is good, EYP. So Marvin, and then Marvin. I got that part right. Let's see if Marvin, one more time. Then I had something I wanted to say to John if he's still there. He doesn't have to reply, but I thought I would say something to him. Okay, no Marvin, I guess. Well, anyway, I wanted to say to John, I just kind of got going and forgot. That was exactly how I got into ham radio also. I was a really heavy FRS user. I really wasn't into GMRS. In fact, I didn't know much about it, but I had a couple FRS radios, Midlands that's supposed to go 30 miles and that kind of thing. And I took them with us when we went on a snowmobiling trip with my brother-in-law. Unfortunately, we only had one snowmobile, and no, we didn't ride together, although as cold as I was on my trip back by myself, I probably would have welcomed that. but it was treacherous. And those radios didn't work. That didn't work at all. Not even just like, didn't make the distance. We were in the same parking lot and it didn't work. So I don't know what happened to those. But that was one of the first things I looked for when I came back home. And I went to Amazon and looked up, two-way radios, and Baofeng's popped up. And I said, well, that's a cool-looking radio, though. Wow. And then I didn't even really read. I think I just bought it and realized that you have to program it. And what the heck, it's supposed to be a ham radio? And I went, oh, no. So anyway, here I am. So that's my story. Thank you, John. And one more time, we'll try for Marvin.
I hope I'm transmitting. What I was going to say was that if you don't have any equipment at all, Walmart is a place to go to. When I first came to California, I was able to get everything that I needed on one trip. So that's my contribution tonight. Over.
Well, good one, Marvin. Yeah, you're getting fine, and that's a good place too. Amazing how much good stuff you can get there at Walmart, of course. Big Five is another great place. You'd be surprised. They've come up on a lot of their brands. They're not, they have a lot of name brand, like shoes and things now, too. They carry Merrells and all that kind of stuff. But they're, they always advertise this like $25 tent. Well, I bought one time, and I used it for 2 or 3 years out on the island, and it was nothing wrong with it. It was perfect size. It was worked great until one night I forgot what I was doing, but I ended up falling down and I broke the tent pole. And of course, just like an animal, they break their leg, you got to shoot it. So I let go of that tent, and I still have that. It's just minus a tent pole. Thank you, Marvin. And we had B was an in and out, and I should be getting my double any minute. KO6RXT Doug. Hey, welcome.
Kilo Alpha 6 Bravo X-Ray Tango. Doug, yeah, I've got a lot of camping gear. Now that we're on the motorcycles, we didn't get rid of any of it. We have a Gazelle tent we bought just before we bought the camper for the one bike. But we're prepared. We got an 18-foot motorhome or trailer out there, fully decked out, and generator. And I can't tell you how many coolers we have in storage. The wife never wants to get rid of them. She is an avid camper, and I like camping too, so it works out rather well. We spent the day cleaning the bikes, getting ready for our next trip next weekend. Unfortunately, we won't be able to make the picnic. We'll be at the Caltech facility in New Orleans Valley up at Big Pine, getting a VIP tour of that place. So that's our next trip. We head out on Friday and come back on Sunday. KA6BXT.
Well, thank you, Doug. Now I know who you are. Yeah, I corrected that. KA6BXP. Yeah, I heard about that trip. I don't know if it was from last week on the net or just in conversations, you were talking to somebody. But that sounds like a great time heading up that way. I think someone was asking about repeaters up that way. I think the only one that ever worked for me going up 395, 38, I think, something like that. Papa 38. It's on Mount something. I'll think it'll come to me. But there is one there, and it carries you probably, if you're lucky, maybe up to Lone Pine, I believe. But it's really kind of stretching it too. The next best thing is, like you already said, you have like a clear note or that with an all-star, and then you'll just be able to get into anywhere you want. All right, we'll have a great trip. We will miss seeing you at the picnic. We'll have to try to work that out again. This is W6CJX, whoever's been keeping count of how many times I've said it tonight. It's like twice. And this is the Papa System Great Outdoor Net. We're just talking about either repurposing camping gear or keeping it and saving it for, that time when you need some place to stay and all the hotels are full. And well, I guess if you're evacuating, you wouldn't go camp in your backyard. That doesn't quite make sense. Let's see who else is out there tonight. We'll see if we can get a few more in before the top of the hour. Please come now.
Hey, this is KO6NJL listening.
Foxtrot Golf Whiskey.
KQ4SYE.
W8KNX.
Oh, wow. Is tomorrow a holiday? Rory's here. Wow. How special. Thank you for coming. Let's see. Bye. I'm just finishing touches on some of these call signs. I scribble a lot. Okay. Let's see. We've got, I think it's November Juliet Lima, and I've got FGW, and I think it's SYE or Sierra Yankee Echo. And we got Rory is KNX. So let's go to the top and say hello to KO6NJL, I believe. Or correct me if I'm wrong.
Hey there, good evening. Yeah, you got that right. KO6NJL. I am calling not because of camping, but I'm trying to, let's see. Sorry, there's like police coming in. I break your guys' normal broadcast with news that there is a total power outage in Canyon Country. If any of you guys are living in this area or in this region and you guys are experiencing power outages, yep, we are too.
Well, it sounds like you've got power for your radio, which is great. You know, even if it's handheld. I mean, it's good that you have the batteries charged. Can I get a name for the log? That would be great.
Yeah, the name is Will, Whiskey, India, Lima, Lima.
Well, thank you, Will, and thanks for coming by. And we're here every Sunday night, so don't be a stranger. Even if you just want to come in and give us that, give us a report on what's going on, in your area and everyone else's. We have quite a few people that live in Santa Clarita and Castaic and different areas. I know there was a fire or something out there the other day, and so anyway, it doesn't hurt to, major accidents and stuff. I don't see a problem with people coming in just saying that there's a big delay on. Of course, not everyone expects a delay on the 405, but like if something's like shut down completely, be good for people to know that are out there. So that was good. Thank you, Will. Good to hear you. Let's say hello to Steve, WA6FGW, who I think, didn't you buy out Sports Chalet when they closed down?
Oh, you're too much there, Bob. Anyway, good evening to you, Bob in the net. This is WA6 Foxtrot Golf Whiskey. No, but I would have liked to. I mean, we're sadly missing in the west end of the valley here, with the exception of REI, which is great, but it isn't perfect as far as... anyway, that's another story. Talking about this subject, I had flashbacks of the 94 earthquake, and I didn't really have a lot of need for stuff. We were fortunate. Power came on, a couple of 3 days after we got situated. Water, we went to the local. They had big trucks of water that they would come and provide, and go fill out your containers. And then, of course, the camp stove to do some light cooking. But the only thing I really vividly remember is using my propane, those green propane stoves. I'm sorry, and not stove. What am I thinking of? A lantern. Had it out on the outside patio, and the light would reflect into the house, so we didn't have to worry about fumes. Other than that, I've been ready for it, but so far we've been lucky. Anyway, back to you. Thanks for doing the net, and some great topics. And we'll have to hear about the person going up to the Big Pine area for the big connections with the radio receivers there. WA6FGW.
Thank you, Steve. And that's what was I going to say to you? Yeah, that does sound like a great trip. I think it was was it JPL or no, it was with the other one. Anyway, don't remember now. But it sounds like that would be a really fun trip to have that tour, especially going up on their bikes. They have those Can-Am, so those got to be a lot of fun to drive and ride. I used to do a lot of my, some of my very first, in fact, I know it was some of my very first camping equipment as an adult, let's say, not just the Boy Scout and all that, was at the Sports Chalet there. And I missed that place. They had the upstairs and the downstairs, and you go there, get your ski boots fitted and all that kind of good stuff. And And then, REI is great, like you said, but yeah, it's still kind of high end, and some of it would last forever, I'm sure. But you gotta, and then we just have Dick's and Big Five, I guess, and a few mom and pops. But yeah, I was surprised when a lot of those went out of business. It doesn't seem right. Oh, well, I guess then there's Amazon. We can always order just about anything and get it the next morning before you get up. W6CJX for the Papa System, Great Outdoor Net. Thank you, Steve, as always. And hope to see you at the picnic. Hope you'll be there. I'm hoping everybody will be there. KQ4 SYE, I think. Let's see if he's here.
Yep, you got it right. Kilo, Quebec 4, Sierra, Yankee Echo. Just visiting California for the evening and from a hotel in Long Beach. I think I'm on Papa 22. And my contribution is camping gear is good for tailgating at football games. We'd fire up the Coleman camp stove, put the Coleman oven on top of that. We'd bake inside that. It'd get nice and hot in there. And we'd make breakfast, lunch, and dinner depending on what time the game was. And sometimes after the game was over, we'd make dinner afterwards and hang out and not be rushing to get out of the parking lot. But that, thanks for hosting this and allow me to be a guest this evening. KQ4SYE, and the name is Dan for the log.
Well, thank you, Dan. That's that might actually be a nice topic too for the Great Outdoor Net tailgating. I don't know. Do we do a lot of it here? Not in the fashion that you're talking. I can picture. I have a lot of friends and ex-coworkers, I should say, from Wisconsin that would go there to watch the Green Bay and sit in the parking lot in the freezing cold with a barbecue going and making some brats and having some beers. I guess we have a little bit milder climate out here, but I would imagine that's still a thing. So yeah, maybe that would be kind of fun. I just don't know anybody in our group here that has done tailgating, but maybe we'll take a poll. Thanks, Dad. And let's say hello, and last but not least, we'll say hello to Rory, an old friend from a long time, and I appreciate him when he has a chance to stop in and say hello to us. W8 KNX in the Detroit area, Michigan type.
W6CJX in the net, W8KNX. Good evening, Bob. Good to be here tonight, coming from northern Michigan. An interesting topic I stumbled on. I almost missed the net. I was sitting here cleaning some things up and realized I was up at a time I could check into this net. And no, it's it's not a holiday weekend. I did listen Memorial weekend when you had Steve talking about the cabin, and I always enjoy that. That's such a great thing, and I enjoy getting the vivid pictures of everything as he describes it. So I was there Memorial weekend, but this weekend, a long weekend, and camping actually up in northern Michigan. A bunch of us got together for a PODA get-together here, and I'm enjoying my new-to-me camper, so there's a good reason to not get rid of your camping stuff, is you might buy a camper someday, or you might know someone who's buying a camper, and they need to outfit the camper so you can give them stuff, so that's always a good reason to keep camping stuff around. But good to hear you tonight, Bob. Good to hear the net, and hello to Carolyn as well. And we'll see when I can pop in here again. We'll say 7-3. Back to you, W8KNX.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize you were actually out camping on top of that. That's really very cool. Now, I know you're coming in on through analog, but do you using like Starlink or something, or do you somewhere where you can actually get the internet? Just real quick.
Well, I suppose you can't really truly camp anymore without Starlink, as controversial as that might be. Back to you, Bob.
Yes, I succumbed to that myself. And actually, I believe this year on the island, I'm going to take my Starlink. Well, I know I'm going to take it, whether I tell anybody I got it or not. And I do have one of the very small mini clear nodes that they offer. And it's Wi-Fi only, which is sometimes challenging, but I got it to work with the Starlink. That's the main thing. And so I might, we've got good reception into the repeaters, as you know, but oh well, technology moves on, so we'll see. And maybe we can also make some phone calls. Carolyn would probably prefer a phone call than a radio call. Well, in lieu of. All right, Rory, thank you as always. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. I still laugh when I think of you and Steve got together at WD8CIK, started talking about Detroit, Michigan, and that area, and it just was a crack up that night. And he got all excited. I could just tell he lit up when he heard someone from that area. That is his stomping grounds back in the day. All right, I'm out of stations. I'm going to probably shut the net, but let's see if we have at least one or two more or not, and we'll close the net. W6CJX for the Papa System. Great Outdoor Net, 100th episode, I guess, of the podcast.
The Papa System has a great outdoor net archive that can be found on the Papa System website by accessing the homepage and drop down the YouTube tab with over 85 episodes that you can listen to anytime. These are a non-for-profit podcast for the pure love and joy of the great outdoors and amateur radio.
Yep, and that's it. Definitely no monetary value. I have to make that crystal clear because it is amateur radio. But it is a nice way to go back and listen to. I've gone back and heard a couple that I forgot all about. I don't even remember saying the things that I said or what. So there's, but yeah, this is going to hit 100 when I publish this tomorrow. And what the heck? Maybe YouTube will send me a big box of cookies. I don't know. Anyone else for a last call for the Papa System Great Out Net? Please call now.
Frank, Papa 1.
KI6ES, Papa 18.
All right. We got two more. We got Frank and we got Papa 18. I don't have a name, but we'll get that. Thank you, Frank. How's it going? And I saw that VK, how does that go? The Vegas Knights? I forgot the the nomenclature thingy or whatever. Anyway, that's looks like great. We did watch it that night. That was fun. And I think I might have to get back into hockey a little bit. I wasn't really into it before, but you know, there's something going on. You're watching baseball sometimes, it's like there's nothing going on for like major innings. But hockey, there's always something going on. People are, you know, whacking that thing all over the whack-a-mole. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry, I'll calm down. It's almost the end of the I have to control myself. Frank.
Yeah, KK6AKH. Frank here out of Papa 1 here. Yeah, it's the Vegas Golden Knights, and I've been watching all the games, of course, and I think I mentioned to you one time, every game I went to this last season, they've lost. So on these playoff games, I'm taping the game, listening to it, but I'm walking away. I'm being a little superstitious about it, and see what happens. That's the nature of hockey, and more so today than when I was a kid. In the old days, if a team got 3 points, you can almost tell who was going to win the game. And the games are so high scoring now. It's like, oh my God, you know, it's like watching your baseball team score 12 runs and they lose it in the ninth. And I wanted to mention to you, you know, Utah has their own hockey team, Mammoth, and that's a city I want to go to and watch their team because it seems like it's a fun atmosphere there too. Anyway, back to net, and good net as always, Bob, and let me throw it back to you. This is KK6AKH, and you guys take care.
Yeah, thanks for straightening me out. The Vegas Golden Knights. I was racking my brain trying to figure out how that plays out. And the guy that got hit the other night, the goalie that got hit, I'm trying to remember. What I remember seeing is he has like the regular standard helmet with like we'll call it a visor, but it's not. It's just the face shield that comes down partially. I mean, that's where he got hit. And I know he didn't get hit directly in the face, but I thought they had masks like catchers, like a catcher's mask where whole face would be protected. I always thought that. I don't know what. I maybe I'll have to go back and look. You know, I was being a newbie that night, and I just was surprised that the poor guy got hit right in the face with a hockey puck. A frozen Hockey puck. There is a difference. Yeah, the frozen does add a little difference there. All right. Well, thank you, Frank. And let's say hello, last but not least, KI6, Charlie Sierra on Papa 18.
Yeah, good evening, Jeff and Annette, KI6CS out in Cathedral City. I'll keep it quick since the end of the net. I do have some fond memories of camping when I was a kid, but haven't done so as an adult. That kind of got me thinking about maybe having a few more things around here for emergencies. And I did step distance from the radio, and I thought I heard a comment about the Green Bay Packers. That's my team, so that's why I brought it up. That's all I got. KI6CS.
Well, yeah, a Packer fan. I'm not from there, but I did work for 20 years for a company in Watertown, Wisconsin. Yeah, it's pretty much everything's Packers. And if they won on Sunday, it was a good Monday. And if they didn't win on Sunday, yeah, just get in and out of that conference call and go on with your day. People were not happy. But yeah, it's a really good organization, I think, if anything. And we didn't have any football in Southern California for how many years? Now we got like 10 teams. I don't know. We got more teams than we know what to do with. So I really do. I still love the Packers a lot. And my son-in-law loves the Broncos. I used to be a pretty good Bronco fan too. So I go between the two. I just, I don't take it that seriously, but I can go between the two of them. All right. With that, and my name is Bob. I should have said that earlier. I know I just said W6CJX, but it is Bob, Bravo, Oscar, Bravo. And we are here every Sunday evening at 8 p.m. on the Mighty Papa System Pacific Time, anyway, for those that are not in our local area. And we appreciate everyone checking in tonight. All the regulars are here, and plus a few extras, adding to this wonderful little forum that we have. It seems to be endless topics. I don't know. They pop in. I want to give Carolyn some credit for this one. We had some kind of discussion. I said, yeah, that sounds like a great topic for the net. So, Carolyn, thank you for that. She's my lovely wife, KK6LMC. All right, I'm going to say goodnight, and thank you to Cecil and the tech team and all the net controllers, and we'll see, hopefully, everyone at the picnic next Sunday. Be there or be square. W6CJX closing the net at 21:15 and saying 7-3 till we see you next time in the great outdoors. Doors.